Hi, welcome to the Elle Russ Show, where I deliver content intended to inspire, educate, and motivate. Engage with me online at elleruss.com and on social media. Enjoy the show. Hey everyone, just a quick 1-minute announcement to let you know about my virtual courses and free masterclasses. I have courses and free masterclasses based on both of my books. I have the Ultimate Thyroid Course. This is your answer to solving any thyroid issue, whether it be Hashimoto's, radioactive iodine, thyroidectomy after thyroid cancer, or just general hypothyroidism. Reverse T3 issues as well. It's an incredible value at 17 modules and 29 hours of content with amazing guest expert tutorials. I also offer the Ultimate Confidence Course. That is 15 modules and 14 hours with also a few guest expert tutorials. An incredible value, and I have free masterclasses on both of those topics as well. Visit elleruss.com to learn more. Today I want to talk about life blocks. So what do I mean by that? It's usually not external. Often we put up obstacles in our own way. And then here's the problem. Then we bitch about it later. So we need to stop professing, right, that we're upset about a block that we create. So this could be anything. And sometimes it is self-sabotage. This is as simple as professing you want something and yet you're blocking yourself. Easy example, you want to lose weight, you keep buying donuts. Okay, well, that's a really easy one to decipher. Another one would be that you feel triggered by a person. And I would say, well, how did you get triggered? And sometimes people say, well, I was on Facebook and saw what they were posting, or they sent me this nasty message, or, right? So if it's on Facebook and you're looking at someone's stuff and you're getting triggered, you decided to go walk over and jump into that fire of triggers, right? So today I want you, me, all of us to sort of look at the ways in which we might be putting an obstacle in our life, making it harder for yourself to achieve something. Asking the question, how am I getting triggered by the things that triggered me? I'm getting triggered, so how is that happening? Am I contributing to it? Am I inviting it in a little bit without maybe even knowing it? I was talking with someone who was expressing that they were getting very triggered. And I said, wow, how did you, why is this toxic person, what happened? They're like, well, I was looking up on their stuff online on Facebook, and then they posted this and that. And I said, okay, well, that's kind of an easy fix. You can just stop looking at Facebook so you won't get triggered. And they didn't want to hear that. The response was, oh, well, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Nope. Okay, you're going to do what you want to do. Then don't bitch about being triggered. Stop bitching about being triggered. You jumped right into the fire. You're complaining about being burned. And so it's very funny, right? The immediate solution is there. Stop looking at the thing, whereas the only place for you to get triggered by this toxic person, you are diving into it. So if you're listening, are you doing that? Are you looking at people's stuff you don't like, you're jealous of, or that are your competitors or whatever it is, and kind of just like hate trolling them? I mean, not even saying anything, but maybe you're just looking at their stuff to judge or whatever. Ooh, nasty little spiral to go down. It's not to say that, look, that's just human ego, human garbage. We need to just get a little bit more aware so we can turn it around. Because if the response is, well, I'm going to do what I'm going to do anyway. Hey, you should block that person. They keep sending you like hateful texts. Well, I'm going to do what well, then stop bitching about getting a text from the person. It's just so simple, yet it seems complicated when you're in it. Are you bitching about something you could have prevented? Because that's also a level of incongruency, right? Like, how dare they? Well, what do you mean? You looked at their stuff. Still, well, no, how dare you? Right? It's a little bit hypocritical and it doesn't really make logical sense. We do it all the time. Are you blocking the people? Are you not answering the calls? Are you doing your best to prevent yourself from being triggered by negative energy? Now, that doesn't mean you close off to the world. We are going to be dealing with stuff out there. You can't avoid conflict. But if the DMs keep coming in from the toxic person, you need to stop bitching about the DMs coming in. At some point, you have to step up and block. And what you're doing, you're blocking the life block. Stop blocking yourself. The more you're embroiled in other people's business, the less you are in your own.
And your hate is not doing any favors. You're stewing in how stupid you think they are, whatever the like hate trolling is on them, the jealousy trolling, it's only really backfiring on yourself. But the only difference between maybe some of you or me or other people is, hey, there's people that are probably better at it than me. It's getting into self-development and into yourself so much to the point where you can kind of notice when you're doing it. And then you call yourself on your own shit. And you're like, all right, hold on a minute. Fuck. What am I doing? What's bothering me right now? Why am I pissed? Am I annoyed with someone? Am I triggered? What am I triggered by? Oh, I just saw this thing they posted. Why am I triggered by that thing? Okay, hold on. Could I have prevented this whole annoying scenario? Could I have guessed that this might have happened to me if I decided to go look at their Facebook or, read the email? Why is there a sick need to know about something that's yuckies? Whether someone you don't like, an ex, a competitor, whatever it is, doesn't matter. What is that? But isn't that interesting? It's kind of if you really look at it overall, I don't think it's strength. I don't think it's a great quality. I think it's something we should work towards moving away from. One of the things that I can tell you from my own personal life, and I think having great boundaries around not blocking my life, is if or in the past, had I ever felt that way, which was maybe a few times, I just don't engage. I don't look to see what someone's doing. I have no idea what a quote unquote ex-boyfriend would like. I don't know because I don't care. The I don't care part is not flippant. I don't mean to say like, I don't care because you don't care, but you really do. I mean, I really don't care. And it's like, well, how do I not care? If you just really break it down, it's why, number one, would I care about what someone else is doing with their life, right? I mean, if it affects me directly, I get it. But if it doesn't, which in most cases doesn't, right? It's just a judgment of standing on top of the hill and saying, I know what's best for you. We all have these thoughts. Someone is going to express something they want to do in life, and you're going to be like, I'm going to do it that way. Or, you know what I mean? Like that's going to be the downer thought that comes up naturally for most people. It's just natural for us to look at like ways in which something couldn't work, let's say. But the key is to really turn around the mindset in those moments when you are either downering yourself and or being annoyed or triggered by other people and or purposely and intentionally going to block yourself. So if you're blocking yourself currently, if you're the person that wants to lose weight and you keep eating donuts, okay, stop talking about wanting to lose weight. First of all, then you're just drilling in that affirmation of always being in a situation where you want to lose weight. Maybe you could try something like, I'm in the process of working on releasing weight. That is the least lying to yourself affirmation you could make that would be positive and believable. And so, you can change around things you're saying and feeling in those moments, right? Like, it's just not fair that they got that if you're looking at a competitor's thing, or it's not fair that this person or whatever that comparative energy, you can go to my solo episodes on jealousy and envy, and I get more into that. But for right now, I mean, it's just, you get where I'm going with this. It's, would you like it? I can tell you from personal experience, it's so much more fun to navigate life from a position of being fully in your own corner all the time and drawing boundaries of protection to protect that energy. And it only is fueling success and happiness and confidence and self-esteem. But yes, I already have that. It still continues to fuel it. After talking to that person who expressed, when I said, well, listen, maybe you shouldn't go look at your toxic ex's Facebook page, right? And they commented, well, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Like, kind of like, don't tell me what to do with my life. And I get it. Like everyone, people are defensive on that initially sometimes versus really recognizing it. How many times is it going to take until you get hit so many times that you go, okay, I'm now finally ready to not look at the Facebook. How long are you carrying it forward? And there is no right or wrong other than you're going to eventually get there at some point, either through pure exhaustion and frustration, but you could have cut it off sooner and along the way had all of that time and space and energy filled towards you and your goals and dreams. It's such a waste to be dealing with other garbage people, right? If you think someone's garbage, then what the fuck do you think they care about you? Like, really, like, are you really going to read their text? I wouldn't. I would just see the number come up and just delete the whole thing. I don't have the sick curiosity. And I'd like you to evaluate, if you do, evaluate that. Why do you feel the need to look at that text? Why can't you make the move to block or not answer the call or not read the email or whatever it is from the triggering whatever the thing is? Now, there's nuances to every situation. There are some specifics with families and things like this you might be embroiled in that you kind of can't remove yourself from, that you kind of have to deal with, you know? My brother and I had to deal with my dad's girlfriend after his death and dealing with his will. And it was not fun for us at all, but we were in it. Sometimes you are forced until the end of the completion of the thing that you're going to have to deal with a certain situation you don't want to deal with. And in those situations, it's really important to find throughout those days and hours, times where you are focused on positivity and having some good time to yourself, or talking it out with a coach, the frustrations of dealing with such a person, so that you are, sort of muting it, not letting it all get stuck inside. But in general, we're rarely forced into these things. The obstacles that are in front of us are usually self-created. The strongest thing you can do is to not even accept words, voice, nothing from someone you know who's going to bring you down. We have this false sense of hope that someone might be different on the next phone call, our hope for what they could be, maybe, and we've all been there. Whether it's someone you were close with that became garbage, or someone you're dealing with because you're forced to in a work capacity, like whatever the situation is, you kind of know sometimes, like, but we always hope for the best. We hope that they're going to change. We hope maybe they're going to be different on the next one. Nope, there they go again. I've come across too many people who are looking at other people's stuff, people they don't even really like or admire, And when we get away from our own stuff, trouble brews, because we're either judging about other people's lives, we're entering into the none of our fucking business category, and it's like, you've probably heard it before. You're either in, God's universe business, someone else's business, or your own business. And there's really only one thing you can control, and that's your business. We're judging when we're in someone else's business. We're simmering in what we think they should do. We're playing the director of their life. We're playing the teacher of our life all in their head. And even if we don't even express some of these thoughts, we are in our head having this fake conversation with them as like a lecture, as if like, this is what you should do with your life. You've done it. I know you're listening right now and you've done it, but even done it today. We've all been there. The difference is catching oneself. What the fuck am I doing right now? Come on. This is not good. This is not a good show. Let's change this right now. They're just internal judgments about other people's lives. Sometimes they're expressed, right? But a lot of times they're not. They're in our head. These are all thoughts that we need to change, because it's the thoughts that we have and the actions we take that equal confidence, self-esteem, boom, on the road to really pursuing our dreams and goals. I'm not saying you can suddenly be non-judgmental, but it's just getting back to, let's see, can we avoid or can we change and shift when we start to get into other people's business? Because when we're doing that, we are avoiding our goals, our dreams, time to affirm our own shit, move in the positive direction so that we can kick ass. We're avoiding our lists that we need to compile. We're sitting there creating a list for what we think everyone else should be fucking doing, and then we're not getting into our own list. So the overall theme here, life blocks. What are you standing in the way of? And are you bitching and moaning about an outcome in life, but that outcome is something you were a part of showing up? Have you tried to prevent it? What ways in your life can you? I don't watch scary movies. I don't like horror movies. Occasionally, like I recently, I grew up with like the first Halloween movie and it scared the shit out of me. And so I haven't seen all of the Halloween movies, but like the last one, like, it finally ends. It came out and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to close out this saga from when I was a kid and I'm going to watch this last Halloween movie. First of all, I made sure I watched it at like 4:00 in the afternoon. Okay. So I try not to watch things like that before bedtime, not because it keeps me up or gives me nightmares. Actually, not at all. but it's still a tinge of a vibe that's been imprinted because I've been staring and been in this world for an hour and a half or 2 hours on a screen. And I don't want to go into my deep sleep that way. That's not good subconscious programming either. So knowing this of myself, I either watch it earlier in the day where then other things can come up, conversations, blah, blah, blah. And then by the time I go to bed, I've forgotten I'm not in that vibe of that movie. Or if it is at night, then I make sure I put on some comedy and I actually like top it off with, 15 minutes of a stand-up that I maybe love or something to put me in a different vibe. Because I am, again, trying to prevent things from affecting me in a certain way. And I know this about myself. And so that could be anything. It could be not answering a phone call from a toxic person. It could be having to block someone, right? It could be only engaging with that certain person at work through email because they're horrible to talk to, or they're better to talk to and never engaging through them for email because they're horrible. Like either way, it doesn't matter what the scenario is. You get what I'm saying. But where can you mitigate things that are triggering or actually fucking up your vibe, really? It's just kind of straight shooting saying it. Sometimes I'll have to like go look at cute golden doodle videos on Instagram just to get in the right vibe. If something just bummed me out, to see some headline or some news story and you're like, gosh, that damn, So that's just really the difference in this self-development, confidence, self-esteem game. First of all, this is all you. You are the preserver of your own brain and your own mood. And if you can, how can you limit and mitigate ways you're blocking yourself and also blocking your happiness because you're simmered in triggers. You're simmered in allowing other people to trigger you is really what it is. It's allowing someone else's vibe to affect you. When you get into the practice of this, it becomes really natural over time where you don't even think twice, or you're not even tempted to like look at the ex's, toxic ex's page or whatever, or answer that phone call. You're not tempted to read the email might be shitty, whatever the thing is, contentious, triggering, negative, toxic, right? When you're looking at the stuff and engaging in it, you're only fueling it. And it's not to say to avoid things, cancel things, turn away. It's not to say you can't talk things out. Of course you should. That's the whole point of coaching, really. But let's start keeping tabs on ourselves because this is about you and your success, not how it's related to anyone else and their success or whatever the fuck they're doing in life. So the more we can move out of everyone else's business this year, move away from that as much as we can. And maybe you're also moving away from others' business. Like maybe you're helping too much. Are you giving too much away of your time to someone because you're an overgiver? That's a life block as well, because overgivers often then are frustrated at the end of the day because they're like, I can't get any of this stuff done for me because I'm helping everyone else with their life. But are you bitching about something that could have been prevented? What obstacles are you putting up, but then complaining about? It's an absolute worthwhile evaluation. It's a life changer. And I can say that just coming from my perspective, the pro you move of getting a prize every time you do a strength move within oneself and avoiding ego traps and trigger traps and other people's businesses traps. When you avoid that shit, that's a pro you move. You're turning it away from everyone else, the external, into you and your life. Some good questions are, am I allowing myself to get all bent out of shape because of someone else's life? How much time am I spending on someone else's life? Let me redirect it back to my life because this is all about me and I'm in it for me. I'm the only one that's going to do this. My time simmering in their stuff is not going to get me ahead in my dreams and goals. And that's where I think, again, a lot of time is wasted in one's life. A lot of things are not accomplished because they are spent simmering in either conversations, which I talk about in my book, or conversations, or just time spent thinking and judging someone else's life. And when you break down these blocks, you know what? You just barrel through these obstacles. And when they come up, you recognize it and you go, damn it. I've just put that up. I'm doing that to me. Okay, let's think about this. The problem will continue to persist unless you do take some type of move. I hope you have gained something from this conversation today, and I will see you all next week.
Hey listeners, over the years, a ton of companies have approached me to collaborate, but I will only promote companies whose products I believe in and that I actually use and consume on a regular basis. So let me tell you about some of my favorite companies that I can offer you discounts for. Rep Provisions, an amazing company doing incredible things for our planet, topsoil, and animals with regenerative agriculture, and it's my #1 source for quality pasture-raised meat and chicken. Visit repprovisions.com and use code L15 for 15% off. I'm also obsessed with a company called Carnivore Crisps. They make a lean, all-natural, and delicious alternative to conventional snacking, made with just real meat and real salt. Totally addictive, and my favorite ones are the beef brisket and the ribeye. Visit carnivorecrisps.com and use code PALEO10 for 10% off. I also love and regularly use Paleo Valley products. They make amazing supplements and delicious paleo products. I use the superfood greens powder, grass-fed beef sticks, the organ complex, and their bone broth bars. I love the lemon and apple. I also use their essential C complex and more. Visit paleovalley.com/promos/Elle Russ for 15% off. I also love Primal Kitchen. They make delicious paleo-approved, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and no refined sugar products, and I use them daily, from their collagen powders and sauces and marinades to their avocado and olive oil. So good, so healthy. Visit primalkitchen.com and use code L10 for 10% off. I also love paleo powder and use it almost on everything I cook. They make incredible seasoning blends, and they also have these incredible grain-free coatings that feel just like crispy breadings that you would have had prior to knowing that there's another way. So visit paleopowder.com and use code L15 for 15% off.